Welcome back, everyone, to our special coverage, Superstorm State of Emergency. I am Trish Regan.
And I'm Adam Johnson. We are just 1/2 hour away from the opening of U.S. futures trading. It's been 4 days. So what's going to happen? Well, I'll tell you what, we are all over this. And to help us try to figure it out, we brought in a couple of pros. And you know who they are. Larry Shover from SFG out in Chicago joins us over the phone and right here in studio.
Oh, no, he's right there.
Oh,
look at that. Live in the flesh. And we get another one right here in person.
Even better, yes. And Jason Weisberg from Seaport Securities, usually seen on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. And Matt Miller.
I want to just say, first of all, I'm so glad Larry could join us via satellite. Jason Weisberg here put his chainsaw down. He was cutting himself out of his Westchester home to get in his truck and come down here. Yeah. So I really appreciate that as well.
The thing is, with Matt, you never know whether we can take him seriously or not. So, Jason, how bad is it in Westchester?
It's pretty brutal. It's a lot worse than it was during Irene and during that snowstorm in October we had last year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really bad.
So are you concerned about some people being able to actually get to the exchange tomorrow and trade?
There is no question that people will not be able, certainly from north of the city, to make it to the exchange to trade. However, will be.
From New Jersey, I have to say, because I was talking with Mike Shea from DAP, and I was talking with Keith Bliss from Catone and Company. Both of those guys are saying they live in basically a world of fallen trees, where they're doing probably what you were doing all day today, just taking a chainsaw to wood and trying to get out of their homes. And I think you're going to probably see that all over the place.
Wow.
Well, I mean, it's bad. I spent 3 hours with the chainsaw to the point where it was dull. But quite frankly, it's outside of the city. I mean, the city's great compared to where I came from.
Okay, so the question is, will people be able to get in to trade tomorrow? We do have the futures market opening in 28 minutes. It should give us some indication of where we might see the market open tomorrow. Larry, I want to go over to you. Your initial thoughts here. What do you think trading is going to bring?
Well, I think trading is going to be very volatile, mainly because it's the end of the month. I mean, obviously the hurricane is going to have something to do with it, but all the traders I talked to today, foreign currency, ags, euro dollar, all volatility was down. It seemed like $20 billion of damage on the East Coast wasn't enough to promote volatility in the market. So I'm expecting volatility to be very tempered and the market to continue its uptrend.
Well, the other thing which is particularly curious to me, Larry, Europe was up overnight. Europe was up 1.5%. I shouldn't say overnight. In other words, that was really their Tuesday session. Why such a strong move in Europe amid such uncertainty here, do you think?
Yeah, I think because the earnings that came out overnight with Deutsche Bank, UBS, I mean, some very positive signals coming out of Europe. And I think in reality, the market's like going back from being micro-focused to being macro-focused. And I think we'll see a continuation of that in the U.S. as Q3 earnings are starting to be viewed through a rear-view mirror. Yeah, people are going to start focusing on things other than the hurricane, other than earnings.
I don't want to be too pessimistic here, but, you know, Jeffrey, we've had a lot of people come on and say, there's going to be some economic damage here. It's going to take its toll. We're going to see the effects in fourth quarter earnings for a lot of these companies. So, Jason, what is it really going to mean for the market? I mean, aren't they going to factor that in tomorrow's trading?
I think a lot will be factored into tomorrow's trading. However, there's clearly some plays on the storm. The insurers and reinsurers will probably get hit, I imagine, pretty badly because of the scope of the damage.
And they've been outperforming the S&P pretty strong.
And some of the retailers
State
as well?
Farm, Chubb,
right,
Allstate, et cetera.
And the Home Depots, the Lowe's of the world, their stocks are going to probably in positive territory, you know, as a result of the storm.
How many times have you been there over the last couple of days? I mean, I've been to Home Depot twice over the last 4 days, so. But,
you know, Larry, back to you, because you're pretty bullish on things. I mean, this economy already on a very fragile path right now. This event, certainly not good. What makes you so convinced investors are going to be that optimistic?
Yeah, well, you know, I just look at what happened to the futures this morning. I mean, the hurricane unfolded last night, but yes, Globex closed up. We closed above that 1410 level. It's very bullish. I mean, I think relative to everything else, remove the hurricane out of the picture right now, relative to REITs, MLPs, cash, U.S. Treasuries, the stock market is still fundamentally cheap. I'm not diminishing the hurricane by any stretch of the imagination, but when you view the stock market relative to everything else out there, it's still fundamentally undervalued.
Hey, Larry, we're showing people charts of both the S&P and the Dow Industrials right now, and clearly the uptrend has been broken when you look at that chart. So why would you necessarily be bullish that it held at 1410 on the overnight futures?
Yeah, well, I think that 1400 level held up to 1410, and you're right, the charts might look a little bit bearish short term. However, it's all relative compared to everything else that's out there. There's nowhere else to put your money right now to get a return that you can get. I mean, right now, 14 times earnings is a good deal compared to everything else that's out there, whether it be treasuries, cash, or REITs.
I mean, I agree with Larry on the long-term view of the market. I actually think tomorrow and perhaps for the rest of the week, we might see a little, we'll see anemic volume, which will create a lot of beta. I think Larry...
And explain to viewers what that means, creating beta.
Well, I think we're going to see a lot of volatility because of the anemic, which will be exaggerated because of the anemic volume. So when people are trying to move positions, they're not going to be underlying bids or offers around.
So the market will be thin, which may create some opportunities, both on the buy and the sell side.
We might see some price dislocation as a result of that.
What's your trade for tomorrow, do you think, Jason?
I'd play the market the way I've been playing it the past few weeks. You know, buy on the dips and hold on the up moves. Because quite frankly, I think at the end of the year, you're going to see a lot of people that are still chasing Q4 performance that they've missed out on during Q2 and Q3.
What's the futures market going to look like 24 minutes from now?
I think we'll be up at least 1%.
Larry,
what do you think about that? And I wonder if you think we see any kind of relief rally, because that's what I was thinking when I saw Europe's markets today. Mayor Bloomberg handled this, and Governor Christie handled this preparation for the storm so well, it could have been a lot worse, and it wasn't.
It could have been a lot worse. And keep in mind, I'm removed 800 miles by highway, so everything here is so surreal. I mean, we can't see or perceive or understand the impact that you guys are seeing. Even though I grew up in South Jersey, I don't see what's going on. But traders that I talked to today, I mean, no one seemed to care right now, and all the paper is selling volatility, meaning that they feel like the trends are in place, and hurricanes do nothing but accentuate those trends. So whether it be treasuries or the stock market or gold or oil, the hurricane is just temporarily accentuating the trend, and the trends will remain intact.
And the trend, by your point of view, Larry, just to be clear for the viewers, is up, correct?
Absolutely. For the stock market, it's up because relatively, as I've said before, it's fundamentally cheap compared to everything else that's out there.
All right, there you have two pros. I think we're out of time, unfortunately. Larry Shover in Chicago, Jason Weisberg right here in New York, two guys who may be buying futures.